Year 1. Almost 3 years ago today, I performed this piece at my first Vapor music recital. It is titled From Year to Year, and it was about a transition in my life from middle school to high school. I wrote it during a tough time of my life because I had played it at my first recital. I find it symbolic to bring it back for my last. Year 2. My sophomore year, I had already started experimenting with my own voice as a composer. I was very intrigued with the idea of portraying colors with sound, and so I wrote a piece that explores the idea of painting a song. Soon I started writing narratives to go with my music. I assumed that if people enjoyed Taylor Swift for her storytelling, why can't I enjoy the same classical music doing the same reason? I also like the idea that there's nothing more humane in music than the human voice, whether it's singing or speaking. And onto the contrary, there's nothing more inhumane than the sound of a robot's voice. You'll hear more about that in a couple of years. Year 3. It was junior year when it came to the realization that sometimes the simplest sounding music can be the most complex. I wrote this melody as a meditation on the idea that started flirting with minimalism for a short period of time. But then a new cat came to town, and he abandoned everything he knew about music. When I first started getting into jazz, everything felt so new and hip. It's truly a musician's playground. I wrote this piece titled Spontaneous Skunk to play around with two things, spontaneous rhythms and stanky harmonies. I believe that this piece taught me how to incorporate more complex grooves, denser chords into my later compositions. It's also one of the reasons I enjoy writing so many different styles. Every genre can teach you something new. With new insight, a question I've had for a long time reemerged. Who am I? What do I want to say? Do I even have anything to say? I started questioning my voice as a composer. The only way to get out of that trap is to keep writing music. Out of my existential crisis came this piece. It's based on one singular idea, the sound of the ocean. I felt it particularly inspired by the different noises you might hear at the beach. Birds, big waves, small waves. Everything is welcome and only contributes to the palette. Year 4. Out of a surge of inspiration, I created what I believe to be my greatest composition to date. It's the Game. Combines everything I learned from jazz years, in my junior year, to the mixed stories that I created during my sophomore year. It was my Hail Mary from my college portfolio, and it will always have a special place in my heart. If It's the Game is a musical culmination of my time here at McClatchy Music, deepest is definitely the emotional one. This was written immediately after I had finished my college applications. So I wrote this piece for myself. It's a rebellion against noise, the noise of judges, the noise of the world, the noise inside my head. All of it represents peace to me. But all good things must come to an end. Because when Suno AI started taking over music of the world, I knew that I had to make a statement about it. And what better way to prove that statement than to use AI in my own composition? I bought the program and weaved it into my own writing to give the illusion that it was taking over my piece. And so, the cycle is complete. I'm going to end my vapor recital journey with the same notes that started it 3 years ago. Back then, the piece was called From Year to Year to represent my transition from middle school to high school. But now it takes on a whole new meaning in context. This now represents my whole high school journey as I travel from year to year. I leave you with the concept that over time, an artist slowly becomes their art, a musician becomes their music. One piece doesn't define me, but rather the collection as a whole does. This collection of music defines this stage of my life, and I move on to the next cycle. It will only be in addition to what I've already hearing here tonight. So let this piece be my offering, because although it may be the end of this era, the best is yet to come. Caleb Payne, May 14th, 2026.